morning. Thank you for having us. Thank you for accommodating us. You already know, but we've been through quite the ordeal to get here. So we are excited and pleased to bring you Harbor Grove. It's our newest proposed development in La Plata, Maryland. Before I go too far into it, though, I'd like to introduce myself and my team. My name is Max Andrews. I am the president of Osprey Contracting, and for this proposal, I was responsible for the site design and the financial and risk analysis.
So my name is Zachary Thorson. I'll be speaking upon the market analysis and the sales and marketing.
My name is Cameron Stagner, and I'll be talking about product design and sustainability.
My name is Connor Haynes. I'll be talking about site management and logistics.
My name is Jacob Bennett. I'll be talking about the site design, estimating, and scheduling.
My name is Daniel Rambo Cruz. I'll be talking about estimating and sales and marketing.
Just some high-level details before we get started. Harbor Grove sits on a 200-acre site, formerly known as parcels B and C in the Heritage Green Master Plan community. The original intent was to have this be all deed-restricted active adult units. There are 429 of them is what it was originally entitled to, but due to a shift in market conditions, rising interest rates specifically, we've reevaluated the proposal, and now we are recommending this. We plan on taking it through a PUD modification and increasing the density to 671 units. We're going to offer more product types to a more diverse buyer pool. We're going to offer paired villas, 40, 50, 60-foot single-family lots in an effort to increase density and minimize our costs. And again, you know, we're not going to just stick with the free living deed-restricted phase anymore. We have a phase within this community, but the majority of it, you know, is marketable towards our new target demographic, which is young professionals and young families. So with that being said, I'd like to jump right into it and hand it off to Zach with the market analysis.
So when diving into the market analysis, you can see that La Plata has grown at a roughly rate of 12% over the past few years, and this brings the population to about 10,000 people as of last year. The median income was about $100,000, and when reviewing the 2019 La Plata Comprehensive Plan, we realized the plan advocated for the housing needs of those who are underserved in the market. So taking this into consideration, as well as the increased cost of buying homes, we had, as Max mentioned, three different demographics we would be targeting. These are young professionals, young families, and active adults. We want to make sure that no matter what, we want to be able to provide a home for anyone, no matter the stage of life he might be in. So the housing market trends currently, there's about a 72% home ownership rate. And over the past few years, due to the increased cost of living and homes in general, there's been a transition to buying townhomes instead. Now, as you can see with the new home affordability rate of 42%, this has dropped since the last year. But we aim to improve this by offering homes that come in at a reduced price while still maintaining the quality the top builders in the Plata have to offer. So as you can see in this table right here, our top three competitors will be Lennar, Timberlake Homes, excuse me, and Berkshire Homes. You might ask, how can we compete with Lennar when they have a 50% market share while having the highest average list price? Well, we believe our increased density is one of our greatest assets. Our competition offers neighborhoods that range from 80 to 200 homes per development, and this makes it much more expensive for them to implement costs for amenity centers, parks, trails, and so on. Our increased density allows us to reduce these costs while still competing with these competitors and being able to deliver a home just as good, if not better, at a reduced price.
Sorry, they're trying to sell us $80 Wi-Fi.
So for our product design, we decided to go with 8 different layouts, 2 of which are paired villas. This was to kind of give some variation for our demographics. As you can see, we have some 1-stories and some 2-stories, just to give the active adults options, as well as making sure that all of our options fit the Maryland aesthetic with the brick siding. And they also include 2-car garages, included basement, and porch and patio. For our sustainability, we decided to go with options, not obligations. So when it came to including sustainability and pricing, we kept it very light. So what we did is we had advanced framing techniques, engineered wood products, and LED lighting including in the pricing, just to give our demographics their unique choices when it came to sustainability. So for an additional price, they can have permeable paving, plant-based insulation, and organic compound paint, as well as other options that kind of give them a unique sense of buying and don't cut them out from their budget.
So with our site design, as Max and Zach already talked about, our biggest priority was increasing the density of our site. And we did this by bumping it up from 429 units to 671 units. Another one of our goals was we expect a lot of families to be moving into the community, so we wanted to have a very walkable, family-friendly design. And we did this by incorporating a 10-foot bike trail / sidewalk along the main spine road that kind of cuts through Harbor Grove, as well as 5-foot sidewalks on both sides of the right-of-way and the rest of the community. We also include nature trails, as you can see, that kind of connect the amenity centers to the rest of the community, so you don't have families walking on the side of the road trying to get to the amenity center or to different parks. We also did this by including buffer areas and wetland preserves. We preserved 33 acres of wetlands while only impacting half an acre. Also, too, we also have a variety of, as Max mentioned, lot sizes and locations at a premium.
So looking at our phasing plan here, we've decided to break Harbor Grove into 5 major phases. We're averaging about 134 units per phase. Phase 1 is A and B. Phase 1A is our 10-unit model home park, which is right up here off the main entrance. 7 of those units will be built out. 3 of them will be on-site parking for sales staff, construction staff, prospective home buyers. Phase 1B is 175 units. We have both paired villas to the west, and then single family there. We have 40, 50, and 60-foot lots in that phase. We also are doing the first phase of our amenity center in phase 1. We've chosen to break that into 2 different phases to help evenly spread out our expenditures over the total duration of the project. Phase 2 is down to the south in the green here, and this is our free living, active adult, deed-restricted, age-restricted community. It's going to be gated. It is going to have its own amenity center. We have both paired villas and single-family homes. As Cameron already mentioned, we made sure to have some one-story floor plans available for the active adult. We know that's what they prefer. Phase 3 is essentially the build-out of phase 1. We utilize the existing entrances off of the main spine road, and it's 175 units, all of which are single family. We have no paired villas in phase 3. Phase 4 is a strategic phase for us. If you notice, it closely resembles phase 2, which is the free living phase. Due to the seclusion from the rest of the development, we feel that this is an opportunity for us to kind of be on our toes and adapt to changing market conditions. We're going to closely monitor the sales pace of phases 1 through 3, and if we find that the free living phase is outperforming the non-free living, we have the opportunity to gate phase 4, put some single family homes in there, and then sell that as a deed-restricted phase as well. Phase 5, same thing. We have a lot of flexibility here. It's just 2 double-loaded roads, one to the north right next to our amenity center. Those are all 60-foot premium lots just due to the location. And then down here to the south, we had this dead space, and we were able to put another 24 paired villas down there. So again, our phasing plan is one of our strong suits. It's going to allow us to kind of adapt to whatever the market may have in store, going forward. And how it works.
So with our schedule, we plan on construction to take around 9 years, starting from the time we start site work in March of 2023 till we finish construction on the last phase in 2032. Each site work for each phase should take between 5 months to about 12 or 11 months, and each home should take around 5 months to build. We are very realistic and also aggressive in our schedule. We included time for pre-construction, water and sanitary clearances, as well as certification of completion that other developers and other firms might not take into account, as well as lift stations, because lift stations have been extremely painful in this market condition right now. We have pre-construction time before each phase so that we can adjust, as Max was saying, to different changing market conditions. And if we need to change our site or change our site contractor, if they're not performing well, we can go ahead and do that and rebid it out. We also plan on selling our first home in the summer of 2023 and closing on our last home in 2032. That is our expected financial scenario right there. So for our land development cost, we expect this to cost around $28 million, and this adds up to about, with our 671 proposed units, around $50,000 a lot. This includes our pre-construction fees all the way through site work and, bless you, through miscellaneous stuff. We were very nitpicky, and we really went through this at every single line to make sure this is an accurate land development cost.
$150 if you're here for 3 days.
Tell me only here for 10 hours.
So for the vertical construction, we were able to work closely with our trade partners to provide detailed estimates on each of our floor plan models, which we have summarized on this chart right here. For our main amenity center and our free living amenity center, we were able to come up with the price of just over $2 million and $480,000 respectively. As you can see here, we have a few of our amenities listed, but we offer much more, such as playgrounds for children, and we also include poker tables for those Thursday poker nights. As we all know, the market in the past couple of years have been crazy with fluctuating prices on material pricing, which can affect our estimates, but working closely with our trade partners, they have assured us that they can hold the prices for extended periods, which helps us keep affordable pricing.
Here's a look at our project team. We will have 2 vertical superintendents and a superintendent intern from the College of Southern Maryland. Each vertical superintendent will be responsible for 15 homes at a time, which will allow us to complete about 80 homes per year. In efforts to maintain the natural forest and wetlands that we have preserved throughout the community, we have put a special emphasis on dust control and stormwater pollution prevention. We'll be using double-walled silt fence as well as 2 lines of defense against stormwater pollution. We believe that this will allow homeowners to fully appreciate the beauty that we have preserved for them.
So over the past few years, La Plata has become a desired location for many home buyers located in metro areas across the nation. So taking this into consideration, we do not only want to advertise locally within Charles County and the state of Maryland, but in places such as New York City, San Francisco, and other metro areas. To reach these audiences, the marketing avenues that we will be using will be digital marketing, social media, virtual home tours, as well as billboards.
So looking at our financial analysis, we have 3 likely scenarios, the first of which is our expected financial scenario with a blended absorption of 19 homes per quarter and an average sales price of $339,000. We anticipate the project will take 117 months, yield us an internal rate of return just shy of 27%, and the total profit will be $48.8 million. Our optimistic and conservative financial scenarios not only change the absorption per quarter, and this is based on the assumption that interest rates will either rise or decrease, but they also change the base sales price of our homes by 5% in an effort to either keep up with the lower absorption. We need to keep affordability up, or likewise in the opposite direction. If affordability goes up because interest rates go down, we're going to be able to raise the price of our homes a little bit. So what we found is that with our optimistic financial scenario and 22 homes a quarter, we're going to get an IRR just shy of 40%, a total profit around $60.7 million. And for our conservative financial scenario, even if interest rates continue to rise throughout the duration of the project, the 117 months, we're still going to be able to remain profitable and get ourselves a return of 14.07%. In addition to the financial scenarios, we've compiled a sensitivity analysis which goes further in depth on just how one factor in our pro forma changing will affect the overall return of the project. As far as land acquisition goes, we already own these parcels. We've allocated $6 million to them, and with the new 671 unit count, that comes out to just shy of $9,000 a door for the dirt basis. Looking at our risk analysis, there's 3 things you really want to touch on. The first being interest rates, obviously. If inflation continues to run rampant, we anticipate the Federal Reserve will continue to hike the federal funds rate into 2023, possibly even into 2024. Doing so will obviously lower the affordability and purchasing power of our potential home buyers. We mitigated this by, one, we've increased the density, so we've got certain costs down, such as our basis in the land and the development numbers, but we're also utilizing smaller lot sizes, 40-foot lots, smaller homes, making them more affordable. And then we also have our supply chain issues, which obviously we've been living with for a while now, COVID-19. Our solution to that is proactive purchasing. We have an awesome in-house purchasing team who really identifies items that have high lead times, such as appliance packages, windows, and they're getting ahead of those lead times before they sneak up on our construction guys. The last thing we want to briefly touch on is the transformer shortage that we're seeing in some markets, specifically in the Southeast. We're seeing lead times 18 months for transformers for horizontal development, and We have actually, as a national builder, formed a strategic partnership with the manufacturer in Mexico. They were building these transformers back in '08, and now that we're seeing these same problems again, they are back in production, and we have a few that we're testing. And if we find that they're an acceptable quality, we've made a commitment to them. We're going to purchase 2 phases in advance, so the transformer problem will not affect us at all. But that's wrapping up risk analysis and our risk mitigation. Thank you guys for being here, and we look forward to your feedback and any questions you may have on the proposed development.
Great, really well done. I'm going to save the accolades so I can get to the questions. So I hope, one, I think it's great that you talked on the transformers. I hope you can get SMEDCO to accept them if they're acceptable to you guys, so you can put them in operation. That would be great. Your home construction costs were really close to what we're seeing too, so I thought that was really well done. I thought the detailed land development budget was strong as well. But I do have a couple quick cost questions. Between water, and this could just be, this all blends together for me too, so if you could point them out, that'd be great. They might be in here. There's like $10,000 in water and sewer allocation fees and $13,000 school allocation fee per unit, so about $15,000 in fees. Where are those housed in the proposal?
So there's just an internal thing in our pro forma. When we went through the pro forma, I believe that the land development number is actually, I'm sorry, I should be speaking in the microphone. The land development number actually doesn't match in the pro forma to what we have in our proposal, and that's because we went in there and added the school seat fee and the water and tap fee afterwards, just on top of that land development number.
Okay. And then you talked about a 10-unit model park, 7 of those being furnished, I think, and 3 being fit out as sales offices or field offices. Where are you carrying the costs of 7 model fit outs?
So it's actually, and it's kind of confusing, we're talking terms of units here. So it's 2 paired villas. We're getting 4 units out of those. And then we have 3 single family models. So really, I mean, there's 5 structures. The other 3 lots we're going to be turning into parking lots. And I'm sorry,
So where are you carrying the costs of fit out? We're like $25 a foot to fit out a model.
I believe it was just in the pro forma as a recurring annual fee. I think we had $150,000 annually that the model homes were going to cost us to maintain.
So you're showing it that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Great job. Can we jump to the site plan real quick?
Sure.
So my question is going to be in regards to the townhomes. So you have a lot of the sliver lots that have been identified, and those are predominantly 1-car garages. Is that accurate?
So as far as the paired villas go, we have in the land development, the stub outs and everything, it's going to be half for the 20-foot product and then half for the 24-foot product. So we have 1 paired villa that is a 1-car garage, the narrower one, and then the wider one is the 2-car garage. But it's 50-50 as far as how they're going to be developed.
Got it. And then your street design is based off of a 70-foot wide. That's your larger street, is the 70-foot wide profile street, right?
For the main spine road?
For the main spine road, and then some of the secondary, well, I guess it is the main spine road, because I guess the rest of it is all the 50-foot profile, right?
Yes. What did Jacob, can you check?
I had it in the main proposal. It was either a 50-foot right, I forgot it was a 25-foot right away or 50-foot right away.
Yeah. My point is, you've provided no additional surface street parking for this community. So every homeowner, because this is a commuter project, right? Everyone's commuting to DC or commuting to somewhere else. 2 cars, you got to plan for them, and you've provided 1 parking space basically for any. Now, a lot of zonings won't allow that. They'll allow the 1 parking space outside, and sometimes they count the garage. But just be very careful with that. That if you're going to have a narrow street, especially the secondary streets, and they're not the wider boulevard, you need to provide some turnouts, some parking spaces, because you're going to get caught with through zoning that they'll catch that right away, and then they're going to make you, and then all of a sudden you're going to drop density really quickly. So that's one thing to catch, and that's kind of the one thing I think you were going in the right direction, right, with what your product was, but provide the parking because that becomes a larger issue. The other question that I had was, I loved options, not obligations for the sustainability. Like I'm going to steal that, by the way. But when phase 4, you talked about, taking the pause, possibly reprogramming that area. Does that mean reprogramming with wider lots?
So if we found that the free living phase was outperforming the non-free living, we would mimic essentially phase 2. We would leave some paired villas in there, but we would as it sits right now in phase 4, it's all paired villas and no single-family homes.
Right.
We would add some single-family home. We would do 40, 50, 60-foot single-family lots.
So then the assumption is I don't have any sewer connections, no water has been run, and at what point in the schedule would that water be run? Because you don't want to redo your stub outs, right?
Right.
You don't want to have that, if you're going to change the lot mix, right, the density, all your undergrounds have to change. So does that mean you're holding off, and then do you have a budget to kind of pick that back up later?
I believe it was our original intention to just leave, I think we go 30 feet outside of the right-of-way as far as our initial clearing and development, but
Yeah.
it was the original intention to leave phase 4 just totally, forested in its natural state until.
And then redo it?
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to go ahead and save and do some of the sewer work or water work when we're doing it in phase 1. Again, it's just a risk that we're not, although it may be upfront savings, it's a risk that we're not really looking to take.
You're gonna catch more on the back end because you're gonna have to remobilize for that section and start that, but then that's then you gotta have basically restart your development cost again,
Right.
so, no, it's good.
Well done. Very organized proposal, very organized presentation. I appreciate that. I really like the idea of being the low price leader and then proving in your market analysis, showing the CMA, showing your dots below the trend line. That's really what needs to happen today to hit that low price point, low monthly payment. Couple questions. In the limited warranty program, you have a 1 year, a 2 year, a 5 year, and an 8 year warranty. The 8 year says warrant structural integrity. How did you come up with 8 years?
I used Pulte as a guide, I believe. Their warranty of who they used, they had 8 years as one of the sections, so
Gotcha.
I thought that'd be a good model.
Gotcha. Okay. 10-4. Then the other one, Tom briefly touched on it, but your vertical construction estimates, I feel, were absolutely spot on. You had mentioned you worked with trade partners. Did you literally bid out these plans, or how did you come up with your vertical construction costs?
Not necessarily. We have we know people up there in that area, so I work for multifamily, and we bid out projects in the east, from the East Coast. So we have an idea of what the market was looking like up there.
Gotcha. So you currently work in multifamily?
I do. I
Okay.
intern.
Okay. So well done, using your work knowledge and contacts to working on the project. Well done. I like that. Well done, guys.
Yeah, great job, team. I like the concept of having the smaller face for the model park up front. That's what we do in a lot of cases, and I do agree. 7 is a lot of models. Maybe consider fewer models in general, just because the cost associated with that. But having it as its own kind of sub face to get things going, shorter development time and quicker into that model. So, good job on that. Fan of the 5-year leak and water intrusion. Yes, you did get that from Pulte. Good job. Then the next question was plant-based installation. Now you haven't heard of that before, but can you talk to me kind of where that came from and how often you think the buyers would take that offering?
So when I was looking at the plant-based installation and some of the sustainability options, I wanted to make sure that it was more northern central, not really south sustainability, based on their environment versus, based on their environment versus ours. A lot of their sustainability comes from the heating and cooling of the home. So that's kind of where I went with that. As well as we also had green roofs in there, and that's not really something you see in the south, but in the north, that seems to be a trending thing, and that's kind of why I went with it.
We're going to allow some extra time for Jordan to ask questions, if that's all right.
Okay, cool, thank
I
you.
got a plane to catch.
I'll go fast. So actually, I see that in your marketing, you do have a yearly staging cost in there. So I'm curious, is that because you're amortizing that cost over the duration of the project, or are you restaging it every year?
So I think what we found is that furniture and equipment in a model home setting had a useful working life of like 2.5 years or just shy of 3 years, I think. So we took a lump sum and then amortized it out over the whole duration of the project based on the assumption that, every 2.5 years or so, we're going to go through and restage to kind of keep up with trends.
You could probably get away with it for the duration of the project for the most part. especially.
You're gonna need $1 million at the front end.
What?
You're gonna need $1 million at the front end.
Yeah. Yeah. So just, yeah, I see what you guys are doing there though. So one of the questions I had is when you're doing the site design, I love the idea, that you guys are calling it free living and that you're referring to the Spire as an active adult. We've seen senior in a lot of packets. Active adult is absolutely what you would call this target market. But with that being said, the appeal is definitely the lifestyle, right? These buyers, they already have a home more than likely. You're convincing them to buy into the lifestyle even more so than the floor plan. And I know you said you'd gate it, but I'm having a hard time trying to see where those gates would be and how you truly separate that piece of the community. And you kind of have a natural break, so why not just automatically gate that southern half and let that be an active adult side of the neighborhood?
So, you know, the problem is we couldn't find a lot of comps in the area for the active adult model, so we weren't entirely confident in the absorption that we're predicting. We don't want to go ahead and jump the bat and make half of the thing active adult. We kind of want to test the waters with that phase 2. As far as the gates, it's our intent to do vertical gates, kind of more, I don't know what the proper term to call them is, but I'm thinking of like a railroad type stopper.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, you know, as far as minimizing foot traffic from kids and everything, we did the walking trails in phase 1 to phase 4, but we kind of excluded it from the active adult phase. So really the only way in and out. And then along the spine road, we'll have, you know, that 20-foot landscape buffer with a white vinyl fence and irrigation, landscaping. Really the only way in and out of that phase is going to be where those gates are. And we're hoping with enough red flags, the kids won't go back there.
Okay, cool.
I'm sorry, was there anything else from your question I didn't answer?
No, that's perfect. And my only other comment with the active adult piece is that it looks like, are you allowed to take any one of those floor plans and put them on those lots, or just the one-story plans belong in the active adult?
Any floor plan fits, well, obviously within reason. You know, our 30-foot product fits on the 40-foot lot.
Right.
But no, I mean, you can take a floor plan from anywhere in the community and put it on an active adult, you know, lot. If you have a 60-foot lot, the sky is the limit.
Okay.
We just wanted to make sure to have that, you know, single-story plan for the active adults.
Yeah.
Although we're finding that our young professional and young family buyers kind of want more square footage, which we were able to achieve with the second story, especially on the 40-foot lot. But no, you can take any floor plan and place it wherever you like.
Cool. It might be interesting to see a couple more, just the way that the active adult buyer wants to live, right? They would prefer to have a little bit more room for entertaining when everyone comes over for Thanksgiving and stuff, and maybe that's not as highly prioritized for the younger buyer. So maybe throwing a couple more plans in that are specifically designed for just the active adult buyer would have been cool to see. But it was awesome. Good job, guys.
Do you need any more questions? We've got all the ones we've saved all weekend.
Yeah.
We can keep
You
going
get
for hours.
peppered
I'll sit
right now.
You guys got another presentation? We got nothing to do today.
No, really well done.
Yeah, really.
Thank you all for making the effort to get here.
Thank you for staying. I'm sure this is mind-numbing enough to do it for 2 days. Now you have your little
You got a clap.
Yeah.